Hi there everyone, welcome to part 2 in the series Let's Play Rome 1892, also known as Rome the Pathway to Power. As you're probably aware, it's been a couple of years since I've done the last video in this series. Mainly it's been due to work, school and other obligations, so I haven't been able to devote as much time as I'd wanted to this series, but I am back and I'm ready to do the next part in the series. I've been getting some great feedback from everyone. A lot of people seem to be quite happy with the Let's Play walkthrough. I got a lot of comments and piqued a lot of interest in the game, which is wonderful. Any questions you guys, either about DOSBox, the emulators, or running the game, feel free to let me know. Either shoot me an email or leave a comment in the comment section and I'll get back to you guys. But overall, I've been getting some great feedback and people seem pretty happy and interested, so that's wonderful. Once again, things have changed a little bit. I'm actually going to be playing this part in the series on a Windows 7 laptop. We're still using the DOSBox MS-DOS emulator. Again, as I reviewed in the first episode of this series, Windows 7 and many modern computers won't actually run MS-DOS programs, so you do need an emulator to run these games, which is the easiest way to do that. Again, just to give credit where credit is due, a few of the recording devices have changed. I'm now using Manycam as the video recorder, and for the sound recording I'm using Windows Sound Recorder. And although it is a Let's Play, I will be narrating the game as I'm playing it. I have done some basic video editing using Windows Movie Maker, just basically to streamline the video a little bit and clean it up here and there. But the basic format is still the same. I'm narrating it as I'm playing along. And again, I'm hoping to show you the game as well as tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. And again, I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so welcome to part 2 of Rome 1892, the Pathway to Power. We are now playing the level set in Rome itself. As you can probably remember from the last portion of our Let's Play series, our protagonist Hector was situated in Herculaneum during the eruption of Mount Vesuvius and managed to escape just before the city was covered in ash and hot lava by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. So now our main character Hector, who was once a slave, using his newfound toga, you can see him there, he's wondering what will happen next. He's able to now mingle freely in the capital city of Rome, and new adventures await him. So just to give you a quick recap of what's going on. Basically, we have the two main characters, or the main enemies of the game, which would be Sesterces the consul, who is up there as one of the most important people in Rome, right behind the emperor himself. He shares the position of consul with one other consul, so those two are the right-hand men to the emperor. And basically, in the last portion of the game, you provided him a message to him and his slave Sloggo. We don't know what that message is, but what we can figure from the game is that if you do manage to follow around Sesterces enough, you realize that he is actually planning to assassinate the emperor and pin the attack on Hector. So the object of this level, Rome, the second level, is to basically find a way to warn the Roman emperor and let him know of the attack, of the assassination attempt that is being planned before the emperor can be killed and the assassination attempt to be pinned on Hector. So that's basically where we are right now. So, okay, and with that said, we're just going to go do a quick inventory check to see what items we have. So as you can remember from the last game, we do have our dagger, which we use to threaten people. In this stage you can actually use it to kill people, but the issue with that is that unlike Herculaneum, Rome is policed by several Centurion guards, so they will knock you out pretty quickly if you decide to go that route. On the other item we have is of course our loaded dice. As you can see here, they have two sides with the 6 dots on them, so that actually will be some use in a little while. And of course we do have our toga, which will allow us to appear as a citizen even though we are a slave. But like I did say, the main focus of this portion of the game is basically earning enough money, and the reason for that is that you do have to bribe the guards of the palace in order to talk to the emperor. So the only way to do that, to get into the palace to warn the emperor, is by gaining enough money to bribe the Centurion guards outside. So making money and finding ways to do so, it basically makes it the main portion of this level. So one of the first characters you meet in this part of the game is this fellow Unscrupulous. He is a moneylender. So if we do, again, we already went over this in part 1 of our Let's Play series, but if you go ahead and inquire, Hector will basically ask him if he can lend him some money. And we can see what he says here. And 100% interest. It's pretty steep. But at this portion of the game, you know, we only have the 1 sesterce, which really isn't going to take us too far. So you can choose to borrow nothing, or you can choose to borrow 10, 20, or 30 sesterces. 20 is a good number, so I'll probably go for that. Okay. So now it's 20 sesterces. As you can see, we had 1 sesterce from earlier, and now we've gone up to 40. Okay, so this is a cutscene here. Basically, as you can see, there is an announcement being made for a slave auction. So that's one of the main aspects of Rome. Every few times during the day, there will be a slave auction to buy both two types of slaves. You can either buy female slaves, which don't have much use, but well, there are a few things you can do with them, but we'll wait to see that later. The main type of slave you want to buy at this point, though, are the male slaves, because they can be used as gladiators, and basically putting them in the gladiatorial games in the Colosseum and having them fight and win is the best and easiest way to make as much money as possible. So if we hit our mini-map here, so compared to Herculaneum, Rome is quite vast. As you can see, this is where we started near the hostel. This is where we are now. The Forum dominates the center of the map and is where we're going to go first. So I'll go ahead and have Hector run to that destination. Again, just hitting the run icon or the keyboard shortcut R is the quickest way to do that. And you can hear a bit of a fanfare there. Everyone's gathering here to see the slaves for sale. And this fellow is also a pretty big heavy hitter in the Roman politics. Laborius Domesticus, he is also a senator, and he is the slave trader. So we're going to be putting in a bid for one of these slaves. So let's see how this goes. And again, while we're waiting, I'll just give you a quick layout of the city. So the hostel area is where we started. The temple, just like in Herculaneum, you can worship the gods. They have paths which we'll also investigate. The palace is here. As you can see, it's dominated by this wall, so the only way in is through the entrance. There's another temple here. It's a tavern which doesn't really gain much focus, and the Colosseum in the corner, as well as the Senate and the theatre. Okay, so he's lining up the slaves. The first slave he has up for grabs is Lucio. And you can see here he has a slave gladiator, so that would be the type of slave you want to buy. All slaves are plebeian or plebeian ranks, meaning they're basically slave levels. Is what Hector used to be before he stole his toga. You have the name, value cheapish, so there is a value system. From my experience, cheapish is usually between 5 to 15, realistically 10 to 15 sesterces. On the high end, you'll be looking to spend around 40 sesterces for a gladiator, but they do tend to perform better. And the other aspect is what particular weapon he uses. So, as you may know from Roman gladiators, there were different types of gladiator who specialized in certain weapons. In this case, Lucio uses a trident and a net. I believe it was a Rotarius, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But that is a real Roman type of gladiator. But okay, it looks like someone else has bid the 10 sesterces. So Lucio is a pretty good bet. We're going to go ahead and bid for that. So you just go ahead and hit the do button and bid. And Hector's given him 15 sesterces. Hopefully we don't get outbid. Going once, going twice, going 3 times, and gone. Great. So that's good news. We have bought Lucio. We go ahead and pay the man 15 sesterces. And so we're in good shape. We basically bought a slave. Lucio, he'll follow you around for the game. There's not really much point in staying much longer. We don't really have quite enough money to buy another slave. But this is Lucio, our slave. You can speak to him. Acquire. We'll call him master. And as you know from slavery, we basically own Lucio at this point. He is pretty much our property. Okay. And so this is the forum which showed you on the minimap. To the left of Rome is there's an aqueduct there. There you can see a Saganus. He's walking around and plotting. If you follow him around enough, you'll see what he's up to. Actually, if we check up on him now, you might see some banter. There's his slave. Oh no, it looks like he's just doing his thing. But if you follow him around enough, you'll see him talking to a hitman, an assassin. So you'll basically see exactly what he's up to. These guys here, this is the other consul of Rome. Oops, so I can jump in. And like I said, you'll be able to notice them by their purple robes. Purple is only worn by royalty or high-ranking officials in the Roman Empire. So this gentleman is also I've lost him, but he's the second consul of Rome. So you might be asking yourself at this point, why can't we just simply go into the palace? Well, as you see, these guys are guarding it, and if I were to do so, they're not too happy. They'll pretty much kick you out. There we go, Hector isn't too happy there. But what there is, though, is a little glitch I found out. So, this is Saganus again. So if you do inquire to the guard to ask them how much it would be to let the men into the palace. So Hector will basically say, I need to speak to the emperor. What can I do to get in? So if you need to pay, agree to use my expenses the emperor. There you go. So he's not too happy with our amount of sesterces. You basically have to bribe him to get in. and 6 sesterces definitely is not going to do the trick. The magic number is 80, which, as you can imagine, it does take quite a while to get to that level. Okay, and it looks like there is another announcement being made. Okay, a contest about to begin in the arena, hurry for a good scene. So that would basically be the Colosseum slaves that are being pitted against each other to fight one another on prizes. So we're going to go ahead and head down to the Colosseum with Lurkio. If we check our mini-map again, the Colosseum is up here, so again you can click on the mini-map. That's a good little quick way of getting to your destination. Okay, here we go. This is the Colosseum, and you only basically see one little corner of the Colosseum. It's not too big, but this is basically where everyone fight one another and so forth. See if we can get a vantage point as well. So it's basically handled by the Centurions. As you can see, hello ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come and watch today's gladiatorial combat, and at this point they will go to each person, and possible citizens are allowed to pit their slaves against one another. Like you said, the prize is 40 sesterces. So Barabbas will be the fighter we're playing against, or fighting against. Again, Caesar slave gladiator, value average, skill is the short sword. Average meaning he's probably between 15 to 30-ish sesterces to buy. Okay, and it looks like, as you can see on our use menu, we now have Lurkio as a slave, but it looks like someone else put their slave to fight. Also, this slave Bilius, he is a longsword. He has a longsword as a weapon. You can see from the little characters here. And during the games, you are treated to a short little video. They're based on their weaponry. There is a slight advantage. From what I've seen, a longsword will usually beat a short sword. Saying that a trident will also occasionally beat a longsword and sometimes a short sword, but it seems to me it's based mainly on price values. So in this case, I think probably Barabbas will win, even though he has a short sword. Oh, it looks like Bilius won. Never mind. So I'm not 100% sure exactly how it works, but there is definitely an advantage to being a certain type of slave or having a certain type of weapon, but in my experience, definitely it's the monetary value that's the main factor in who wins a fight. So we had Bilius up there and play and fight, and it looks like he went ahead and beat Barabbas, who's being carried off. Now I'm going to put in my slave Lurkio. Okay, yes, I'll enter Lurkio against your man. And there might also be an issue with the amount of games, so if on the first game one slave wins, he perhaps won't win again. I'm not sure if that's an issue, but basically there's our slave Lurkio with his trident and net on the left, and he'll be flanking Bilius again, who was the victor of the last game. And if there is a continuous win, then the price money does go up, so that's something to keep in mind as well. And on the downside, if you lose, then that's pretty much it. You've lost your slave and your investment. So it does suck if you lose, but hopefully you can win. But there are other ways to win money in the game, so we'll see how this goes, and we'll go from there. No. So that's Luckio and 20 sesterces down the drain. This Bilious guy is pretty good. So I guess maybe longsword fighters do have an advantage against trident fighters, but again, I'm still, maybe if someone knows, you're more than welcome to add a comment, but I'm a little sketchy on the details of it. As you can see, the prize money has gone to 50 sesterces. So we're not doing too well now. There is another way we can hopefully change our luck. That's down at the tavern here. So let's have our main man Hector run down there and we'll see what's going on. So just while we're, again, you can see the character of Hector. He's automatically running to the destination I pointed for him. This is the Emperor. He's walking back and forth along his garden. That was the gateway which I showed you earlier that we need to get inside. The theatre doesn't pose too much of a, in this part, doesn't play much of a part in this main portion of the Rome level. We will revisit Rome in the later levels, but for now it's not too important. They do occasionally perform certain activities and plays there, but for now, it's not much of an issue. Okay. Okay, cool. So as you can see, this is another tavern, and the guy here, Flatulous. An inveterate gambler try one of his dice games. Basically, if you're a plebeian or a citizen, he arranges this dice game which you are more welcome to play. And it's definitely, and if you remember from our items, Luckio is now gone because he's now 6 feet under. We do have a special dice we can use. So let's say, hey, I want to go ahead and play, and I'll use my own dice. So maybe this would be a good way to have our luck. Turn upside down. Then before we start the game, just another quick announcement. It looks like another slave auction, so we've obviously already been to one of those. So back to the game. Once again, you can have Hector choose to use his own dice, and then we go to the cut screen with the innkeeper and his friends. Basically, as it says, as I describe it to you, the basic aim of the game is to throw the dice. If you roll a 6, you win the whole pot, which is usually around 10 sesterces. So in this case, Hector rolled a 6, mainly because we have the lucky die, and we win the pot, which looks like it's going to be 10 sesterces on top of our 6 that we already had. And you can keep playing. So again, if you roll over a 3, I believe it's a 3 or better, then you get your money back. But let's roll the lucky die again. Okay, good news, we win another pot again, so since we rolled another 6. But the issue is since we're using the lucky die, basically we're going to have an unproportionate amount of wins, and that will basically alert the innkeeper and the other players that something's wrong here. But for now we can just keep playing. Again, it looks like we rolled a 5, so we didn't win. So the lucky die is not always guaranteed, but it definitely increases your chance of winning. And so we'll try it again in full time. And again, you just hit use and hit the die, and then allows you to play with it. Looks like it didn't work that time. Try again. Okay. So we threw a 4, So in that case, we don't win the pot, but we get our money back. Okay, but at this time, as you can see, wait a minute, that die says 2 sixes, you cheat, get him, boys. So at this point, they realize that you are cheating. And usually what happens is that Flatulous and his group will run, beat you up, and take your money. But as you can see, I just jumped on the mini-map, and there's one area I found. It's a little bit of a glitch, but this area is actually really cool because if you run to it and walk inside, then you'll actually be immune from getting beaten up and your money taken, which is kind of cool. So it's actually this little building here. I think it's some of the other building courtyards. It might also work, but this one's always worked for me. And then basically, if you wait here, the innkeeper and his friends will eventually catch up to you. There they are. There's Flatulous and his other 2 friends. But as you can see, they can't actually enter the courtyard, so they'll actually continuously run in circles around you and not be able to get in. So it's kind of a neat little glitch. It allows you to use the loaded die as much as you want and still not suffer the repercussions of being a thief and a cheater. So that's the 3 guys that are continuing to run around. And you can also use this glitch with the Centurions. So in this level, there's a Centurion guard there. In this level, if you kill anyone, then the guards are immediately alerted and come to apprehend you to throw you to the lions. And by doing this, you can actually run away from them and prevent them from arresting you or capturing you. So I've done that a few times, and I was actually able to kill a large majority of people with no repercussions. So that was a pretty neat little glitch. So in the meantime, I'll probably let these guys run around and tire themselves out. Basically, they'll keep running until another announcement is made, and then usually they'll forget about what's going on and walk off back to their tavern game, whatever they were doing. So again, it's a pretty neat little thing. That's something not every guide will show you, so definitely worth checking out if you have the game. But in the meantime, I'll probably let them run around and tire themselves out, and then cut it to the next scene. Okay, so it looks like we're finally good. There was an announcement, and then these guys finally left, so Flatulous and the innkeeper have lost interest and have gone about their business once again, leaving us free to leave the courtyard and 20 sesterces richer. So that was pretty nice little glitch for us. So in the meantime, there is another slave auction going on. It looks like Laborious Domesticus again is heading it, but they are already about halfway through. Another little thing you can do as well is if you are trying to get a good deal on the slaves, if you talk to the other bidders, either the men, women, or the male, female citizens, that tends to make them leave. And if they leave, then they're not going to bid, so that can help bring down your prices since you'll have less competition. So just talking to the other patrons can help out. But in the meantime, I'm going to see if I can bid on this slave girl Vesta. And slave girls don't really have too much use. In the next Rome level, you'll see they can be used for bribery. And there's other things as well, but for now, just since she's the only one available, since we came late, I'll see if we can bid on her and win her. Okay, awesome. So we bid 10 sesterces, and we won the auction, which is great. So that's not her, it's the priestess. And I'm just going to look at okay, that's not the slave girl. Let me get away from these guys so we can get a better look at her. And there you go, Vesta, slave girl, cheapish. So again, cheapish, around 5 to 15 sesterces. Also, Laborious Domesticus can sell you slaves independently of the slave auction. So that can be kind of neat if you have the extra money and you miss the auction or you need a slave right away. So he's still in the auction mode, but let me go ahead and ask him again. Again, if anyone ever moves off the screen, you can just click them to catch their attention. Okay, so excuse me, I'd like to buy a slave from you if I may. And I don't only sell slaves except at an auction, so it'll have to be at a special, very high price. And let's see. Okay, so our old pal Lucchio, it looks like he's back from the dead. And he's willing to sell him for 22 sesterces. So if you remember, we paid 15 for him, so that was, obviously the price has gone quite a bit higher. And not only that, but we don't actually have enough money to pay for him. So you basically have an idea of this stage in the game what to do. Basically, it's either playing the dice games or buying male slaves as gladiators and winning the Colosseum fights to gain the necessary 80 sesterces to enter the palace. But the main thing I want to show you is actually another little glitch, and this can be a little complicated to do, so I decided just to speed this portion of the Let's Play video up. Basically, it involves having either a male or female slave walk behind you, and normally what happens when you try to enter the gate by yourself without correctly bribing the guards is that they'll kick you out. So I'll try and do it here. Again, this is being speeded up, but if you do it incorrectly, they'll basically grab you and kick you to the curb just like that. So basically, what this little glitch does is if you have your slave follow you correctly, then they'll basically grab your slave and kick them out instead of you. And as you can see just there, we now shifted into evening time with a change in the background. So it's pretty nice. You can see there's definitely a change in the color scheme, and the lights are on in the houses. And later on there'll be nighttime as well, so the color scheme will change once again. You can walk around at nighttime, that's usually not a problem. There is an assassin around who might cause you grief, but usually if you avoid him there's usually no issue. There is a hostel you can stay at. I'll probably show you that at a later time, but for now basically we're just going to be walking around. Again, unsuccessfully trying to get in through the gateway and got kicked out once again. But just a little bit of persistence, and it's all to do with the angles as well. You need the slave to also look towards the gateway instead of you, so as long as you're persistent you'll be able to do it. I'm not sure if you also saw that little cutscene, but they also offer little plays at the theatre, so that's another thing I'll be able to show you on a subsequent playthrough, since we're going to come back to Rome 2 more times, so there's plenty we still need to see, and we'll have plenty of time to see that. And now nighttime has come in, so as you can see the screen is a lot darker. Okay, and I think we're in luck, so we managed to come at the right angle, and instead of me he threw out my slave girl Vesta, so that ties him up with the slave girl and allows me to enter the gateway. So that's basically the glitch. You just have to walk with the slave girl behind you, and if you come at the right angle and have her look towards the gateway instead of you, then the guards will kick her out, allowing you to safely enter the palace. So that's where we are now. We're now in the palace. As you can see, I didn't have to waste 80 sesterces, even though that is the correct way to do this. And you basically, right at this point, you have to warn the emperor. So the emperor sleeps here. He is not dead, he's just sleeping. There's Emperor Glutius Maximus. As you can see, his rank is emperor. And if you hit the do function, you have the new function of warn, and that's when you warn the emperor of what's going on. So you can follow along with the speech. Basically, at this point, we know enough that Sesterces is plotting something. I didn't really follow Sesterces, but if you do follow him, you see him speaking with assassins, and he's clearly planning something, clearly planning to kill the emperor. And the next day he'll actually launch the attack using an assassin. But for now we warn the emperor, so we are safe. And there we go. Into torture, Sigournus confesses everything. And in gratitude, the Emperor gives us commission as a centurion. So things are definitely looking up for Hector. Moving up the social ladder. So tempted by the thought of warm exotic lands and not wishing to risk offense, you accept. And I wonder where we're going to go next. Perhaps sun-soaked land of Egypt, the lush fields of southern Gaul. Oh no, not Britannia. So that's a good lead-in for our next episode. So hope you enjoyed this episode of our Let's Play Rome AD 92, The Pathway to Power. Once again, if you were happy, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm definitely going to try and make another video as soon as I can, since the response has been so good. Also, I have some great short videos based on the Silent Hill video game series. Definitely worth checking out. Put a lot of work into them, and the feedback has been good for those as well. So if you do get a chance, I definitely recommend them. Once again, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section as well. I'll try to get back to you guys. And the next time we play in the Rome level, there's a lot that we haven't gone over. I definitely want to show you more of the buildings, such as the bathhouse, the theatre, the hostel, and the senate. There's a lot of in-jokes that we missed, and I skipped over it, but if you fail to let the Emperor in time, then there's actually a assassination scene, which is pretty cool. But I think I've hit a lot of the main points and given a good overall look at it. And hopefully I'll see you guys next time for when we play the Britannia level. Take care and goodbye.